Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi ta'ala wabarakatuh. My name is Mahmud bin Maat from Academy 2. So this is my question. Okay, Perfect Image Ltd produce two types of computer printers, a laser model and inkjet model, which pass through to production departments, fabrication and assembly. The following data relate to the year just ended. So these all the data given from the question. So first question, calculate the per determined plane-wide overhead rate based on direct labor hours. So the formula is total overhead divided by total direct labor hours because the question mentioned based on direct labor hours. So we need to divide by total direct labor hours. So total overhead 270,000 plus with the 135,000 we get from here. Divide by 22,500 and 90,000 we get from here. So the per determined overhead rate equal to 3.6 per direct labor hours. We go to the next question. Calculate the per unit cost of the laser and inkjet printers based on a plan-wide overhead rate, assuming that direct labor hours is the cost driver. So in this question, we need to highlight direct labor hours is the cost driver. So firstly, we calculate for the laser. So total hours, 1,500 plus with the 30,000 we get from here. So the total is 31,500. So total units 11,250 we get from here. Prime cost 90,000 we get from here. So together overhead cost 3.6 we get from the previous answer. We need to multiply the total hours of laser, which is 31,500. So overhead cost equal to 113,400. So 113,400 plus with the prime cost 90,000, we get total cost 203,400. To get the cost per unit, 203,400 divide by 11,250. So we get cost per unit for laser 18.08. For inkjet, total hours 21,000 plus with 72,000. So the information we get from here, so equal to 93,000 total hours for inkjet. Total units 112,500 we get from here. 675,000 we get from here. Prime cost. So to get the overhead cost, 3.6 multiply with the 93,000, we get 334,800. So 334,800 plus with the 675,000, we get total cost 1,009,800. So to get the cost per unit, 1,009,800 divided by 112,500, we get the cost per unit 8.976 cost per unit for inkjet. So we go to the next question. Calculate per determined departmental overhead rates, assuming that machine hours is the cost driver in fabrication and direct labor hours is the cost driver in assembly. So in this question, we need to highlight two things. First, we need to highlight machine hours is the cost driver in fabrication. Second, we need to highlight direct labor hours is the cost driver in assembly. So firstly, we calculate for the fabrication department. So the formula is total overhead divided by total machine hours. Why total machine hours? Because machine hours is the cost driver in fabrication. So we need to divide by total machine hours for fabrication department. So total overhead 270,000 we get from here and 45,000 we get from here. So per determined overhead rate for fabrication department equal to 6 per machine hours. For assembly department, the formula is total overhead divided by total direct labor hours. Why total direct labor hours? Because of direct labor hours is the cost driver in assembly. We get from the question. So we need to divide by total direct labor hours. So total overhead assembly department equal to 135,000 we get from here and 90,000 we get from here. So per determined overhead rate for assembly department 1.5 per direct labor hours. that's all for question number 3. So we go to the next question. So question number 4, calculate the per unit cost of the laser and inkjet printers based on the departmental. So we calculate for the laser first. Unit produced 11,250 we get from here. 15,000 we get from here. Why we choose here? Because fabrication use machine hours as a cost driver. So we choose 15,000 instead of 1,500. So to get the overhead cost, 6 need to multiply with the machine hours fabrication, 50,000. So we get overhead cost 90,000 for laser. Next, labor hours used assembly, 30,000 we get from here. Why we choose here? Because assembly use labor hours as a cost driver. So we choose here instead of choose 1,500. So 30,000 here need to multiply with 1.5 to get the overhead cost, which is 45,000. So total overhead for laser 45,000 plus with the 90,000 we get 135,000. So 135,000 plus with the prime cost 90,000 we get total cost 225,000. To get the cost per unit, total cost 225,000 divide by unit produced laser 11,250 we get 20 cost per unit for laser. So next for inkjet, unit produced 112,500 we get from here. So machine hours used fabrication 30,000 we get from here. Why we choose here? As I mentioned before, fabrication use machine hours as a cost driver. So we choose 30,000 instead of 21,000. So 30,000 we need to multiply with 6 to get overhead cost, which is 180,000. So next, labor hours used assembly 72,000 we get from here. Why we choose here? As I mentioned before, assembly use labor hours as a cost driver. So we choose 72,000 instead of 12,000. So 72,000, we need to multiply with 1.5 to get overhead cost, which is 108,000. So total overhead equal to 108,000 plus with the 180,000, we get 288,000. So this amount plus with the prime cost 675,000, we get total cost 963,000. And total cost divided by unit produced, we get the cost per unit 8.56 cost per unit for inkjet. We go to the next question. Question number 5. Estimate the amount of underapplied or overapplied overhead using a planned Y overhead rate. So for A, total budgeted overhead 113,400 plus with the 334,800 we get from the question number 2. So here, these two amount we need to plus to get the total budgeted overhead, which is 448,200. So this amount we need to compare with the actual overhead. Actual overhead was given from the question 450,000. So after we compare, we get the over applied overhead, which is 1,800. So while using the departmental overhead rates, total budgeted overhead equal to 135,000 plus with the 288,000. These two amount we get from the question number 4 here. So after we plus these two amount, we get 423,000. So this amount we also to compare with the actual overhead, which is 450,000. So we also get over applied overhead, which is 2,700. So for the last question, which approach is best for perfect image, a plan Y overhead rate or departmental overhead rate? Why? So it is better to use the per determined overhead plan Y overhead because it will incur lesser amount of overhead costs compared to the departmental. So in this question, we need to use predetermined overhead plan Y instead of departmental overhead. So that's all from me. Thank you.